Welcome back to another episode of Voices from the Field. Today, we are going back to our hot topics and our poll questions for the month of June. So, if you have not gone to our polls, you should go to our website, extrainingsoftball.com, and click on the polls tab, where we're going to discuss a lot of the questions that are on there about summer ball, recruiting, showcases, tournament setup, all the things. So, really excited to dive into that. The first question I want to ask Carie and get her input on is, team first or me first? So should players miss team tournaments to prioritize individual exposure at individual camps, at college camps?
Wow, this is a loaded question for me. I understand the going to the camps and getting exposure, but I think this is a bigger hot topic that we've not talked about in this. And this is me coming from the coach's standpoint as well as a parent standpoint of a daughter who's played. You can't tell your players that they can go off and go to camps when you're keeping 12 people on a team.
Mm-hmm.
Because who are you to dictate who is allowed to go when? Because the bottom line is if my ace pitcher goes, as if we're going up to Kansas this weekend, we're playing against the top 200 teams in the country, and all of the coaches are going to be there, and you're gone for a camp because that's what you're doing, you essentially hurt the 11 other players.
Yeah.
So this goes to communication. It goes to standard and team culture. And I think it's something that you need to know before you enter into your commitment. And to be honest with you, people go, oh, well, the really big schools won't be having their camps during that time. But there's a lot more than just huge schools. There's a lot of schools that people are interested in going to. So I think it's a really mixed bag. And I wish I could sit there and say to you, oh, absolutely go to your camps. There are camps all year long. And there should never, ever be a panic camp. I've got to go. So you should be able to plan things out ahead of time and be able to do it. So my advice to the players and the parents from the me section would be sit down early, get your calendar out, look at the camps, look at your tournaments, and try to plan around that. If you're looking at a camp that you want to go to the University of Timbuktu, that's your dream school, and they've got a camp 3 months from now. If you can get your schedule to your coach prior to that, then it makes it very easy for them to say, yes, go. And now they've got time to either find a pickup player or manage what they're doing or change tournaments that they're going to. I think that's really big. I'm a big proponent. I like the camps in the winter better anyways. That's just me. That's what I did with my own daughter. I think we went to one summer camp, and that was at the University of Florida. And the only reason we went to that one summer camp is we had played a tournament that weekend down there, and they were smart enough to have a camp, the 2 days after. So those were easy, and Monday, Tuesday camps weren't going to affect anything that you were doing. Now, I don't know how good it was on the body for your own kid.
Right.
That's what we did. So I think most college camps are getting to the point where they're not over the weekend. And I think it's definitely me first. If you're going to miss a day, like I won't be there for Friday, coach, I'll be there Saturday and Sunday, but you got to be willing to make that commitment. You can't say, oh, well, my team plays here and I'm going to this camp and it's too far. Sorry, you made that commitment. You've got to put your team first. So, I don't really know how else to say that, but I would hope to think that it would be team first, in making sure that your teammates aren't going to be hurt by the decision that you're going to be making. And the only reason they're really hurt is if you're last minute doing stuff.
Yeah.
That's just me. So it's hard. Like I can even show it to you. Like I have this, this is my calendar. On my dining room table. And I mean, everything is written in there, and every prospect of things of what we might be doing is written in there. So it's really essentially important for people to plan ahead. And then it never has to be a me first, in my opinion, if you plan ahead.
Yeah.
And there might be that rare case, some big school comes and sees you play and you're an uncommitted 26. If you're an uncommitted 26 at this point, I think you've got to be completely selfish and do what you have to do for yourself. And your coach has got to understand that. So I'm good with that. I think it really depends when you're in these people that are saying, oh, it's me first, and they're a sophomore. Sorry. Not happening. Plan ahead, find a different time they're offering a camp. So I hope that kind of.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to give you the results that we have this far. And it's so interesting. 75% said that camps are key to getting recruited and players should be able to prioritize that. compared to 24% said, no, you need to commit to your team first. So it's interesting, I mean, I would have thought that, it would be the other way around, but I guess that shows you where
Well,
people are at with the recruiting process and camps and all that kind of stuff.
maybe it would be really cool for us to take that question one step further and ask, does it matter at what point you're at in your recruiting
Yeah,
process?
true. With how old you are.
Because we
Yeah.
don't know the people that responded that are uncommitted 26s or rising juniors and they don't feel like they have a lot of options,
Yeah.
those different things that might make a difference. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm just going to say it. I feel like it's the day that we're living in. It
Yeah.
really has become. And you know what? In all honesty, I guess I probably should gut check myself too, because when I say that, $1 million offer, would you leave a school that you've been committed to?
Right.
Yeah, so it does come down to a financial decision. But I think, like I said, with my own kid, I think I took her to a total of 8 camps. Now, I'm not talking the local ones that are the day
Yeah.
ones that you can go and do, but the
The
ones that
college
you have to
ones.
do and stuff like that. So if you get started early enough, maybe you don't have to do the panic me first. But yeah, those results are kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the next question, and it's the whole uncommitted versus unlimited time. So when we're talking about that, in the cold poll question, I have really screwed that up. You're gonna have to edit that out. What the heck am I reading? Uncommitted equals unlimited time in showcase game. Oh, okay. All right. So let's go to our next question, Katie. I want to ask you about this. It's kind of about the uncommitted versus the committed in playing. And the poll we talked about is in a showcase, who should get priority on the field, the uncommitted players or the committed players? And the four options you had is what is a true showcase meant for? How, I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about.
I think just hold on. Sorry. I think it's the bullet points. Just say in showcase games, should uncommitted players get priority on the field?
Okay. All right. Sorry, Katie. I'm adding lots of work
Okay.
to your editing. Here we go. All right, Katie, let's move on to the next poll question or hot topic we had. It's all about the uncommitted player. And the question basically was, should uncommitted players or committed players get priority in a showcase? Don't even get me started about showcases. That's a whole nother story. But let's talk about, you're at a showcase. Who should get priority? Should they get equal priority? Like what's your thought process on that?
Yeah, this is like to me probably one of the most like controversial takes because I can see both sides of it. But I know that looking at a team, and I don't think I don't know, it's hard. I don't think it's fair to bench the committed players because they committed, because at the end of the day, they need to play too. And just because they committed doesn't mean that, like, oh, you don't have to play, like, just, sit on the bench, especially, a lot of college coaches go and watch their committed players play. So I know that there's been situations where college coaches, whether it was my sister's team or some of my friends that coach, like they get frustrated because they're like, I, flew to Kansas City to come and watch my kids play and they're not playing at all because they're committed. So I don't know, but I also understand as a showcase, you want to make sure those uncommitted players get that playing time. But I don't know. I feel like when it comes to showcases, I think that's another whole topic. I think you still got to play the game like you're going to play the game. Like, I think you still, in my opinion, and I'm not a travel ball coach, and so I understand that I don't have that element to it, but like you still got to play the game like it's supposed to be played. I don't think you need to sit there and just like, throw a game just because, this kid isn't committed. I think at the end of the day, like, what are you teaching? I got to be careful how I say this. I got to be careful. Like, I feel like, what are you teaching the players that if maybe they're not, working as hard as the committed players did, maybe they didn't make the sacrifices that that the other players made? Like, how is that fair that you're rewarding them when maybe they didn't work as hard? Now, granted, that's not the situation. I know there's injuries, there's less exposure. I get that. So I'm not saying that, like, if you're uncommitted, you're not working hard by any means. I'm gonna have to cut that because I gotta figure out how to word that. I'm gonna end it, then I'm gonna hand it to you because I don't need to get in trouble with this. But yeah, I don't know. I think it depends on the situation, which I know we always end up saying that, but I think that if there's a player that a coach is coming to watch, maybe you do have to make those switch. Like if Macy's catching, but the coach says, hey, look, this other catcher, I really want to watch her play, then, maybe you need to
Absolutely.
switch
Why not?
Macy out, absolutely. But I think in general, I don't think it's fair to never play your committed players in showcases just because they're committed. I think you kind of got to find that balance and give them opportunities to play and get better, because then you're going to get into the mindset. And I know that we're about to get into this question as well, of making the committed players think that because they're committed, like they're done and they're good and they can just sit back and relax. So I think there's a lot of push and pull with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to take it from the coach's perspective, and just kind of throw some things out. If that's really what I'm going to do, then if people think that the uncommitted should play over the committed more no matter what, then I would tell all committed players never play with uncommitted players.
Oh yeah,
And
right.
so I think, and I obviously I'm speaking as a parent when I say that, because I've got my own kid and I've got my own thought process of, what the summer is important about of it. I don't think once you commit, you pull back. I think you go harder and you
Right.
go stronger and you play harder and you challenge yourself to play different positions and you put yourself in places to fail. I also would tell uncommitted players be really careful of that mentality of it, because it's the committed players a lot of times that are bringing coaches that could see you. If you're
True.
playing on a team of 16 and 10 are committed to some power fours, some JUCO, some mid majors, and those coaches are coming to see those players play,
Mm-hmm.
then they're going to get opportunities to see you. Now,
Right.
I think where I would say 100% the uncommitted takes priority is I'm a coach at Timbuktu and I walk up and say, oh man, this kid's a shortstop. I really need to see her. Coach, I'm looking for a shortstop. And so that comes to a whole bigger thing of what is your relationship with the people, who's working on the outside of the fence with the
Yeah.
people coming. What are you looking for, coach? I'm looking for a shortstop. Oh my gosh, we got a great one. Yeah, but I see the one playing there's committed. Oh yeah, but we've got one that's right behind her in the next year. She just played last game. I'd really like to see her. This is the only time I'm going to be here. Sorry,
Yeah.
switch. You got to go.
Absolutely.
And I think that becomes a culture or a mentality that you build within your team, that if you've got a nucleus of a team that stays together, then the committed players would have had committed players in front of them and they got that opportunity. So it's a
Right.
passing of the torch. So I do believe that's important to do. So I'm not but I think people need to be really careful, because if that's the case, then I'm just going to take my kid and we're going to go to a team that's completely committed. At the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I would also tell you, be careful as an uncommitted kid of being on a team that has a ton of uncommitted and or at that point in time has nothing but committed.
Yeah.
Now I can just use Macy's team as an example. I think there's 16, maybe 17 on the team, and all but two are committed. That's a pretty good situation for those
Yeah.
kids to be in, because they're
Absolutely.
going to play them a lot. They're going to put them in. They're going to put them in all different situations. So I think that's a really key thing. So I think it goes back to parents and kids doing their homework to know the organization. What are their priorities? What's their culture? And how are things taken on before you even get to that position, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. But don't even get me started of how important after you commit those summers are, because that's a whole nother
Well,
topic.
yeah, we're gonna get to that question 100%. I
What
wanted
were
to
the results on that? I want to know.
Yes, I wanted to pull those up. So the results is 80% said yes, showcases should spotlight those who need it most, and only 19% said no, college coaches also want to watch their committed players. So again, we're kind of like in the minority there with our opinions about that. But I don't know. I think that a lot of people don't think about the college coaches coming to watch their players. Like if Courtney Deifel flies out to California to come watch Macy catch, like, and she's not catching the whole time because it's a showcase, like that's not, she probably won't be very happy about that. So
You might
I
you
think
might lose that connection for the rest of your
exactly. So I
organization.
think I think that's seeing that side of it as well, of what college coaches are wanting as well. So I mean, again, it's a push and pull with that, absolutely. So
Well, once again, I'm going to tell you who's answering it.
exactly.
Who's answering the poll? Is it all the uncommitted that are answering it, or is it not? So there's a lot of variables. So I get it. I would think both of those questions would have been more 50-50 if we knew what
Yeah,
our population was.
absolutely. So the next question is the one that we're about to talk about. Carie might get on her soapbox about it, but I'm really excited because I think this question, like nobody really thinks about it that much, and I think the answer really it affects the player greatly. So it says, "What summer where It says which summer matters more in a player's recruiting journey, and so I'm going to go through the possible answers before. So the summer before committing, and or the summer before committing, that's when you're grinding for offers and getting on radars, or the summer after committing, it should prepare you to compete at the next level and lead your team. So I'm looking at the poll right now and I'm already seeing the results, which is insane. It's pretty cool. So go on, Carie. I want to hear your thoughts.
Well, I'm assuming that the poll probably says it's absolutely the summer before you commit, because that's all anybody's chasing.
Mm-hmm.
But this is maybe a really bad analogy, and Katie might have to edit this out. I look at it as marriage.
Yeah.
Once I said I do, that's when the work began.
Yeah.
It was not before, because before that, I mean, yes, we work. Don't get me wrong, and
Right.
you have to work at a relationship, but marriage is hard. Like, it's not easy. And if you're not married, let me just tell you, like, don't just think of it about the wedding. Like, the wedding
Right.
is like one little party and one little thing. Like, marriage is hard. Like, I don't even know if I really knew how good marriage was until I was married for like 7 years. So I
Yeah.
put 7 years into a marriage before I went, this is a good dang
Kind of
couple.
nice.
I might keep him, you know? So when I say that, for me, I guess it goes back to, and maybe it's because I'm a coach. Maybe I'm jaded in the way I think about things. But the moment Macy committed, I told her, enjoy this for about 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just revel in it, be excited about what you did in it. And then at the end of those 2 weeks, you better work harder.
Yeah.
And you better look for every opportunity to expand your tools. Maybe that's where you find what a 5 tool is. I don't know. But you've got to get mentally better, physically better. You got to learn about nutrition. You got to make sure you're getting sleep, like all of those things. You've got to go and play against better. You've got to go and play more, is my opinion. Because if not, then you're commit. And I cannot tell you how many times in my coaching years of freshmen who made the decision not to play the summer before.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't play till they were juniors if they were lucky.
Yeah.
Most of them didn't make it.
Yeah.
They didn't make it because they thought it was over. And I keep hearing something that I heard Macy say to you in an interview, and I know I keep referring back to her, but that's an easy thing for me to recall, is that you said something like, how do you deal with burnout? And she was like, how do you get burnout at something that's your passion? And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to maybe cause a lot of controversy on a hot topic. If this isn't something that you're just like obsessed with, like borderline need counseling over.
Right.
I truly need, I'm 58 years old and I need counseling over, like,
Right.
what do I do? I can't move. I've thrown my back out. I know it's all because of softball. So if you're not at that point, you need to really reevaluate why you're doing what you're doing to go to the next level. Because the facts of the matter is you could make more money flipping hamburgers at McDonald's. And I'm not dishing on McDonald's, even though I don't like it. You could make more money there per hour than the time that you're going to invest into something that's going to cause you immense amount of lost sleep, injuries, like where you do need counseling, like all of those kind of things. So you have to live it. You have to live it. You have to breathe it. You have to do all of those kind of things within it. And that goes back to where we talked about in one of our podcasts, that it's, that we all used to always call them student athletes. Quite frankly, there are levels that you are a student athlete, but if you start talking elite, you're an athlete student, period. Yeah. That's all there is to it. You are now an employee. Mm-hmm. And so if you want to be great at your job, or you want to make more money than the person sitting across the table, the business table, then you're going to have to outwork them. Yeah. And it doesn't come with, now, please don't hear anything I'm not saying you don't put down the ball for 4 weeks in the winter and you don't do that. Right. Yes, you have to take those breaks, but it certainly isn't the summer after you've committed. You got to remember now, this is a business. And if you take that mentality, you commit in September, October, November of your junior year, you play your high school season. And then that summer you're kind of lax. You don't sign your papers till November. Yeah. You don't sign them till November. Mm-hmm. So I know that if I said, I'm going to buy this house from you in November, and it looks pristine and it's all this kind of stuff, it's your dream house, but I'm not walking in to sign the papers on it. And I go to check out the house the week before or 2 weeks before or a month before, and you've stopped mowing it, the walls, the windows are broken, I'm not buying it.
Right.
So I don't know. That's probably really controversial. And I think once again, that goes all back to what is your commitment? You've got teams that, I mean, Macy made a big change in the team that she's playing for now. She's playing for a national team. We put 3,700 miles on our bodies, which is my back,
Yeah.
and cars in the last 2.5 weeks. And we're not even a quarter of the way done.
It's
I
only
mean,
early June.
yeah, like we're not even a quarter of the way done. So I think you have to really look at the investment that you want to make, how you're going to do it to prepare it. And, and I think it goes back to what pond do you want to swim in?
Yeah.
Don't tell me you
That's
want to
true
be
too.
don't tell me you want to be power four
Yeah.
and you want to have an easy summer
Yeah.
junior year.
You want to have
I want
fun?
it to
Yeah.
be the senior. So that's just my personal,
Oh
that's
yeah.
from a parent and a coach's standpoint.
Yeah, I think it all goes back to, like you said, it's a business now, and which is good and bad, but it's like now there's more expectation. Like, and that's it's a great way, like in a great way you have more expectation. Like, again, I know we use Macy, but she, it's an easy one. Like, Macy now has the expectation to show up on campus when she graduates and like be an an SEC Power Four softball player. Like, that's her expectation now. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. And so I think you got to live up to that. And I think too, and this is, I don't know if we've talked about this before or not, but I feel like I've heard a lot of players, like they want it all. They want the social life, they want the Power Four commitment, they want the fun summer, they want to go on trips, they want to go, and you can't have it all. And I think that's like, it's hard. Like, that's life. Like, that's life in general. But like, I think a lot of the players, like, they want all, they want all of that. They want to have the fun summer and go on beach vacations. And I'm not saying you can't go on vacation. Again, like you said, there's a line where you need to go and take a break. But I think a lot of the players will commit and they're like, okay, now I can have my social life. Now I can go on all these trips and vacations and all that. And it's like, no, you can't have that. Like, you got to make those sacrifices. Like, if you want to go play at Arkansas, Alabama, Texas A&M, Texas, like, you're going to have to make the sacrifices to be able to keep up with that expectation and keep up with that standard. So it's hard, and I don't think it's easy to hear sometimes, but I agree with you 100%. I think obviously you got to put in the work. Like, we're not saying the summer before doesn't matter. Like, it obviously does. But I think that's where a lot of players get kind of lost, as they end up kind of slacking off a little bit because they're like, oh, I've done it. And it's like, you haven't even.
Well, and here's something, like I heard you say it like 2 or 3 times, and it's something that I'm trying to change in the way I'm saying things to people too, is I hear the word sacrifice. And then I look at Nija Kennedy and I go, I wonder if she looked at the vacations and the social life and all the things that she sacrificed
Yeah.
as a sacrifice now that she's got $2 million.
Right. Right.
Or maybe we need to, as athletes and coaches and parents, look at it more of an investment.
Yeah.
I'm going to invest in this so that I have the opportunity for this. It's a
Yeah.
mental mindset that I think we need to change.
Hmm.
I could get all philosophical and say,
Yeah, I like that.
it's like having a credit card. I want that. I don't know. I want my car windows tinted, but
Yeah.
I don't have the $1,000 in my bank account, but I got a credit card. So I can just go pay for it and then
Yeah.
pay it off over time. And now I've just paid $1,500 for it. That's the easy way to do it. The
Yeah.
better and smarter way is to invest. So I'm really trying to change my vocabulary.
I like that.
I'm trying to get it with my daughter, and I have to find a lot of times with myself of backing off of her as well,
Hmm.
because I know I've been there, I've done it, I've seen it. So I'm constantly going, hey, you should do this. Hey, you should do
Yeah.
this. You should do this. And I have heard myself saying that sometimes, where I'm like, you know what? She's 6, 7. Oh, don't let me hear her say she's 16. She's 17. She needs the ability to go play pickleball with her friends. She
Yeah,
needs to have
absolutely.
here or there. Specifically, I think I caught myself in it in the last 3 or 4 weeks, because in the month of June, she's home, I think 6 or 7 days total.
Right.
So it's almost like, and she hasn't seen her dad a lot. So I'm trying to push her to see her dad
Yeah.
and get her to do all those things. And it's like, no, you got to let her go do those things. Like, she's got
Right.
to have that part of it so that she can
100%.
stay to where she wants to invest in that.
Yes.
And I'm not very good at it. I'm a workaholic. Like, I've always been a workaholic. I can't. I mean, I can think of in my lifetime like 5 great family vacations that I've taken.
Right.
I'm 58.
Yeah.
Some people would say, well, you're missing life. You need to slow down. And they're probably right. It's not in my makeup. So my
Right.
vacations are what I'm doing and those kind of things. So I can tell you honestly, showering before this, I was like taking a big deep breath, can barely move, can barely shave my legs because of my
Yeah.
back. I'm like, I think I need a vacation.
I think you need a break. Yeah.
So maybe I'm going to change and vote differently here in
Yeah.
the
Well,
next.
and you need that. And that's the thing,
Yeah.
like we're not yeah, exactly. There's a place in time like Macy's home for 6 days. Clearly she's investing in her softball career if she's only home 6 days out of the month. So those 6 days, yes, like absolutely let's do something different. So I think
Yeah.
there's again, it's a balance at the end of the day.
Well, if anyone ever figures out the perfect formula, please email it to me because I'm
Yes,
looking for
right.
it for
Right.
sure. All
Well,
right.
hold on. I'm going to do the
Oh,
results, which
yeah.
I'm sure it was 97% was the summer before and 2% was the summer after, which is probably about what it was like decimals. I know that math doesn't add up. It was like 97.6
Yeah.
to 2.32. So,
We got to figure out how to ask these questions better or make them, or maybe not, maybe get this and then get them to listen to the podcast. So it stirs people thinking
yeah.
of how to maybe look at things a different way. So that's interesting. All right. So this was a big debate that I had with my father traveling back and forth. And it's about showcase versus championship. You know, what really shows a player's worth? Once again, I can't get past the coach mentality or even player mentality. Showcases did not even exist when I played.
Yeah.
You literally had double elimination.
Yeah.
You went to a tournament, you lost twice, you were out. Now, I also will say it's a bigger business now too.
Right.
And we sure in the heck weren't writing $2,000 checks.
Yes.
So I mean, I sit there and I go, yeah, like not, no. I really feel like for a period of time, maybe 10 years ago, everything went to nothing but showcases. Obviously, great for recruiting. Coaches
Yeah.
get to see plethora of people. Coaches will put people in situations maybe that might cost them a game because they're trying to get them seen. I think there's a happy medium somewhere in there. I
Yeah.
really do. I like the showcase mentality as a coach that I can walk up and say, "Hey, I really need to see Katie Lively pitch.
Right.
Can you tell me when she's going to pitch, how many innings she's going to pitch so I can come do that?" What I don't like about showcases only is that these kids there's nothing on the line for it. Like, why
Yeah.
are you playing?
Yeah.
If I knew I was in a double elimination and you were my dream school and you weren't coming to the tournament Sunday, well, let me tell you, there is something on the line for me and my team to get us motivated to make sure we're
Yes.
still playing on Sunday.
Right.
I think we can have the best of both worlds, and I actually almost have seen it starting to switch back to the other direction. Now, let me tell you, as a parent, I love the showcase. I can see the schedule, and I can go,
Yeah. You know exactly when you're playing.
I'm ready to go. So totally.
Right.
Um, I like the things, and then this adds another day normally when you do this. So people go money, so there's that negative to it. I
Right.
like the one like we're going to Kansas City. So
Yeah.
we have 5 showcase games, and then it's single elimination, baby.
That's a lot
Go,
of
let's
games.
go. So we're playing 2 on Thursday, 3 on Friday. I'm not sure if those seed you. I mean,
Yeah.
it might. I don't know. Probably not. It's probably random. It might seed you. I don't know. And I like showcases that do seed you. I like even the
Yeah.
showcases that are
Doesn't they
3 days
matter?
where you get 3 showcase games and then you go into a double elimination
Right.
or single elimination on Sunday.
Yeah.
I like seeing these kids have to play for something.
Yes.
Like that it means something if you lose. You
Yeah.
lose, you go home.
Absolutely.
I like that part of it. I like it that I think it shows from a coach's standpoint, it puts pressure on kids to, and I don't like the word perform. So just like sacrifice, I'm getting rid of the word
Yeah.
perform. It puts pressure on these kids to compete.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer competitors are not made, they're born.
Yes.
And the only way you get to see who has that it factor is they got to be put in the hot cooker.
Yeah.
They got to be put in the hot cooker.
Yeah.
So and I do think like I don't know, I like both. I like both.
Yeah.
I see the I like the showcases like the first weekend or two because it gets all the kinks out. The teams can use it. People
Right.
can play. I like to see there's something on the line. Like I like the Alliance. I like the PGF. I like the
Yeah.
ones that look, like how do you ever name a champion?
Yeah.
I literally looked at my dad. I'm like, these dadgum showcases is everybody gets a freaking trophy, and I can't
Yeah.
stand it. Like I can't stand it.
Yeah.
Like that team over there can't catch and throw, and they get to play the same amount of games that I do. Why
Yeah.
am I paying the same amount of money as they are?
Yeah.
Like that's the way I look at it. And
Yeah.
these showcases are costing $1,500 to $3,700. Like
Yeah.
that's a lot of money. That's a lot of
Yeah.
money. It should mean something. So, and I can see the other side of it too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I want my kid to be seen. I want her to do this. But what if the tournaments were cheaper? There was more on the line. Coaches still got to see you, and you got to go to those camps that you're asking to be me first that didn't conflict with the tournaments, and then they
Exactly.
get to see you in a whole nother light. Like,
Exactly.
why are camps so important to these people?
Yeah.
Because they're more like showcases. You get to get on their campus, they get to work with you, they get to do all the
100%.
intangibles. So maybe there's a happy medium and I'll see it before I'm dead. So I don't know. That's where I feel about it. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you're already going to play pool play games. So I absolutely agree. Like, a few showcase games to warm up, whatever. I think that's completely like, I get that. I know from a player's perspective, like, I hated showcase. Like, you go out there, you're going to play 4 games and you're going to leave. Like, it's not as fun. Now, granted, I mean, sometimes you just got to do things you don't want to do. I mean, it's not like it's got to be awesome all the time, but I think, like you said, the balance of maybe having a few showcase games, like you said, 3 or 4, and then roll into a bracket play. Like, I don't know. This is like another topic that we might not have time to discuss, but I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, like even the tournament, like tournament berths, they're not really a thing anymore. Like, and I even like, I think about like, I think when I go back to my like most favorite travel softball memory ever, one of the biggest ones was when we won our berth to PGF. Like, it was back when you couldn't just like sign up, like we had to earn it. And we won our berth, like we played the tournament and we won a berth to California because like otherwise we weren't going to go.
well,
And so,
that's
you
interesting you
know,
say that because I don't know it. I got to do some research into it.
yeah,
Talking with a couple players at the last tournament that I was at, and at this showcase tournament,
yeah,
there was showcase and there was showcase championship earn your berth.
okay,
And so I talked to her. It's actually Faith Mayfield, and they were playing to get their berth to go to Alliance.
okay. So maybe there are some.
Well, don't you guys have points? And she's like, they're not doing points anymore. You have to win a berth. And I
Love it.
was like, maybe we're coming full circle. Okay,
Yes,
now I'm excited about that. Like,
yes,
because you could do that. You could do the committed play. I don't know. I just think that's a really cool concept. And it's not, you can't buy your way into a national championship.
right,
And I think
exactly.
people are going to say, well, Nija, well, that's totally different. Like
No,
they had an entire
you
season.
also performed to get
Yeah,
that. Like, it's not like they just like found her on the street and was
yeah,
like, hey,
exactly. So I think I totally agree. I think, I would rather have fewer people at the tournament
and it's more
earn
legit.
their way to get there. Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
like
you
you
can
know
have
you're playing best
you
of
can
us.
have another championship the ones that didn't. You can have
Well, you
the
had the
next,
plat. I know at PGF, and I think they still have this. I don't know. I hope people are like yes, but there's a platinum and there's a premier. So I
yeah.
think platinum. I think you may have been able to get in, and I know Power Pool for Colorado. It's like Power Pool and the supplemental. So they do have but I don't even know the Power Pool. You just get selected, right? I don't think
I
you.
think it's based on what you did the year before. Like
Yeah,
you have to be
yeah,
and you can. I know you now. The way you can earn into the power pool because we did it when I was coaching Macy's team is we went out to Colorado. We were not in the power pool. We were in the other one, and we came. I think second place in the other one.
yeah.
And so like the first 2 or 3 were put into the
Okay,
power the next year.
so it's
So,
from the previous.
so it was a way to earn that part of it too. So yeah,
Right.
there's a lot of good things on it. And I think, look, our sport is like the American diet. We're always looking for the perfect way to
Yes.
stay awesome, which is growth, and that's
Yeah.
awesome. I feel like we hop and go, and maybe it's the sign of the times and way it goes. So
Yeah.
I totally get it. All right, this
Yeah.
brings me to our last question. That was a
Do you have
hot
time for
topic.
it?
Do we? I don't know
Do you have
what.
time? I just know you
Oh yeah.
guys.
Oh yeah. I'm fine. I'm
Just to
doing it.
make sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So this brings us to our last hot topic. It's burn out or buy in. Game time's getting out of control. Whoa, this is a big one for me. And people are going to say, so like, I can't stand these 75-minute drop dead game times. Like, what are we doing? Teams
Right.
aren't even getting out of the third inning and there's a winner and a loser. I can't stand that. That's not a
Yeah.
game. That goes down to money. Money drives it all. More teams, more money, all that kind of stuff. Trying to stay on time for the college coaches to come. I get all of that kind of stuff. But the other interesting part of it for me is I would rather them just say you're playing 4 innings. Play four
Yeah.
innings.
Right.
You can say play 4 innings. I would love it to be fives. You could say play 5 innings if you want to, and have a mercy rule. Like, have it if you want to. People go, oh, you can't do that because you have such mixed match teams. Well, maybe we shouldn't have such mixed match teams. Maybe we should do some research on some of those
Correct.
teams. So there's that. But the part of this question that I want to get to are the game time starts. Like, and this is going to vary based on the age that we're talking about, obviously. 8 a.m. games should 100%, in my view, be illegal.
Yeah.
Like I would like our president to sign an executive order today and say 8 a.m. games are not allowed. It's not the 8 a.m. first pitch. It's the get there at 6:50 to get warmed up
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
And specifically do that based on when we got home at 11:30 or 12 o'clock the night before, because we were playing a 10 p.m. game that got pushed
Right.
back by an hour because there was rain or a delay, and we're not home
Right.
for that. And then we're doing that. Let's just add insult to injury. We're doing that to 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like these, and this is all parent and coach and money driven. Like I've got a couple kids I work with that are playing on 10U teams, and they go to these 1-day tournaments and play 8 games. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
there's not another sport
No,
not another
that's
sport
yes.
that requires, oh, maybe, I don't know, maybe the triathlon and that kind of stuff, but those
That,
people,
that's a completely different ball
they're,
game right
they
there.
choose that. Like, you make that decision to choose that part of
Yeah.
it. Um, and then I'm going to be real controversial, and then I'll throw the ball to you and you can do it. I would love from a faith-based opportunity, because I don't like to interrupt your family life to bring you the softball season. And it means that we don't have the ability to go to church.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about a building. I'm not talking about getting in our fancy Sunday clothing. But one of the things that I love so much about what my son did in choosing rodeo is there was never a rodeo at the college, high school. I don't even know what you call club, travel club, rodeo. I don't know. It's just rodeo uh,
Yeah.
at all times. And he started when he was in 7th grade. Sunday at 7:45 in the arena was church.
I love it. Yeah.
And they had guest ministers, preachers, priests come from anywhere, and we would do 2 to 3 songs of worship. He would deliver a message, and then sometimes there was one of the cowboys or cowgirls competing that would share a special thing. And it was so cool because everything was ran by the people that were participating.
Yeah.
The music was done by cowgirls and cowboys and stuff. They'd bring their guitar, they'd bring that kind of stuff. Um, and you didn't have to go, so there's no pressure to go. But you
Right.
knew at 7:45, and you go, oh, you don't want an 8 a.m. game. You know, no, I don't. I want to go to church from 7:45 to 8:30, and everything started at 9:30.
Yeah.
Did we get home an hour later? Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah. You can live with that.
yeah, I can live with that. So that to me is important. And I've told everybody I would rather get home late, my kid get to bed late, and be able to start later than do the other. I would be really interested to hear what people say about it, or even if we could ever get statistics of how many more injuries are done early
Yeah.
in the morning or
Yeah.
late at nighttime.
Yeah.
I
Well,
just,
even looking at like college softball, like I'm pretty sure you can't start before 9. I think that that's like a rule. Like even in preseason play when they're playing the tournaments, I want I
I
could be
don't
wrong
even think
about
any of them start before 10 anymore.
yeah, I think 9 is like the absolute earliest you're able to start.
Right.
So and that's my thing is like, why are we just not going off of that? Like, why are we not? And I don't know if there's a time for at late. I don't know if NCAA has a rule. I'd have to look that up of like
Well, I
you
know
can't.
at the College World Series, it's like no pitch starts after a certain
Okay,
time.
so they do have it. So again, like I don't know why we aren't just going off of that. And I get it, like you said, it's money, it's time, it's the teams and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, like you said, if it's causing more injuries, it's causing whatever. Um, They definitely, I don't know why we don't just go off of how college does it, because I mean, if the elite of the elite, if you're telling me that Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Alabama, all these schools, if those athletes, they think it's in the best interest that they don't start until a certain time, or in, again, they're the elite, like they are the best of the best. If they need more rest, and the NCAA doesn't, and granted the NCAA
Has its own issues.
do, yeah, right, but like that should tell us something. Then, little 10-year-old who just started playing, like if Jocelyn Allo can't, I don't say she can't handle it, but if it's in Jocelyn Allo's best interest, and I mean she's also graduated, I probably could use something more recent, but Brie Ellis, if it's in her best interest to not start until 9 o'clock in the morning, then why the heck are we telling little Susie at 10 years old that she should be able to do that? I mean,
Yeah.
but
Well,
no,
and
and
it all
then
goes
yeah,
back to, here's another hot topic we need to put out. What's more important based on age? We could put age groups out, our games or practice.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, I think the games for the younger kids are a way to measure their learning and their growth within the sport and to reward them for the work that's been
right,
put in to get there.
right.
Obviously, games become more important later, so they're getting showcased and seen and all that kind of stuff. But I think we play too many games and we don't practice enough. That's
Oh
why I
yeah,
think
we could go on
the
a
level of the game, I think that would be an incredible hot topic for
yeah.
us to say for next time. So,
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, I will go ahead and share those results. I forgot to share the one about the showcases. 78% said showcases are more important, and then only 26 or 21% said championships are more important. And
they're
then,
all parents that want their kids to go play somewhere.
yeah, and then the time restriction, 82% said 8 a.m. games and 10 p.m. games are too much. And then 17% said no, that's the grind we signed up for. So at least we were good on like
Well,
one.
that one, I think we need to like hammer that one out. Maybe we can make some changes. It'll be too late for me, that's for sure. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you so much. And this was awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, Katie girl.